Welcome back to Quick Movie Recap. Today I am going to explain the action movie Apocalypto, released in the year 2006. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Here the Mayan tribe shown hunting a wild boar in the jungle. The leader of the hunting group is Flint Sky, but his son, Jaguar Paw, hands out parts of the animal to the group and each one accepts with great reverence, but Blunted is tricked by Jaguar Paw into eating the boar's testicles. They claim it'll make him fertile, but one bite has Blunted throwing the balls. As they are returning to their village, they come across a wandering tribe. Those men are starved and weak and they are asking for passage through the area. Jaguar Paw asks what happened and the wanderers say that their village was destroyed. He wants to ask more questions but Flint Sky stops him and tells the wanderers to pass through. Jaguar Paw watches him go. Back in the village, Flint asks Jaguar not to be afraid of what he saw. Fear will not bring anything good. He tells Jaguar that tomorrow they'll discuss what to do about the wanderers. The tribe is joyous to see them return. As the hunters return, Blunted's mother-in-law scolds him for not being able to impregnate her daughter. While at night the tribe sits around the fire, an old man tells story. After that everyone is drinking and dancing and all around. The next morning things take a turn for the worse in the most terrible of ways. As the tribe were sleeping, a group of Mayan warriors approach in secret. They try to kidnap the sleeping people. The tribe comes to know of the attack. This sends everyone into chaos as they try to run and fight back against the attackers. Jaguar manages to get the pregnant wife and child out of the village. He takes them to a nearby hole in the ground which is quite deep. He lowers them into the hole as the village behind him burns. While doing this, a warrior attacks and he's forced to fight him off while keeping his wife safe. Once she and the child are in the hole, he tells him to wait for him. He runs back into the village to see if he could be of any help, but there's no hope, for the village huts are burned, bodies are scattered on the ground, many are dead and even more are tied up and bound as prisoners. Jaguar Paw finds Flint Sky fighting with a warrior, Middle Eye, and hurries to help him. He and Middle Eye exchange blows, but it looks as if Jaguar is going to overcome and even defeat him. But then the leader of the Mayan warriors, Zero Wolf, stops the fight and throws Jaguar to the ground. Middle Eye is furious that Jaguar got the better of him and wants to kill him right now, but Zero Wolf won't let him. Instead, Middle Eye kills Jaguar Paw's father right in front of his eyes. The people of the tribe are now prisoners. They're tied up together and forced to watch the women of the tribe assaulted and killed right in front of their eyes. As the warriors ready everyone to move, Jaguar looks back to the hole where his wife Seven was. She's yet to be discovered, but now that he's leaving, there's no way for her to escape. She's as good as dead. The warriors force the tribe to march through the forest. On the way they meet up with another group of warriors who are waiting with another group of prisoners. Jaguar sees that they were wanderers from the previous day and now he understands what happened to the rest of their tribe. As they walk, Zero Wolf interacts with his own son, Cut Rock. He praises the boy for how he acted in the battle and even gives him a special dagger as a sign that he's now a man. The journey is hard one for the prisoners. With their hands bound and tied together, they're forced to march for days through the dangerous jungle. At one point, while walking along a cliff face, one group of prisoners almost fall off entirely. Middle Eye goads them and tries to encourage them to save themselves like it's all a game. Back in the hole, Seven inner child is on its way. As Jaguar did not return by now, they knew that either he is dead or taken away. Getting closer to their destination, the prisoners come across large cleared land with gigantic trees being chopped down as if they're nothing. The prisoners look at it all and wonder, having never seen such things. Soon they come across wasteland, where a young girl holds her dead mother. The warriors whisper that she's infected and they have to keep away. The girl tries to go to one but they push her back. She starts to laugh, telling them that their end is near. To fear the black sky and the man who runs with the jaguar, he'll bring an end to them all. They are little disturbed by this prophecy. They reach the Mayan city and it's unlike anything the prisoners have ever seen before. They are surprised to see the buildings, which is bigger than any hut, and those people, which are thousands of them, who are crowding the streets and hard at work. Disease clearly runs rampant through the citizens. As the prisoners make their way through the streets, they eyed the crowds, confused and perhaps even pitying them. This society is dying. On their way through, the prisoners gets painted in blue from shoulder to foot. They pass some murals that show depictions of brutal sacrifices of people, colored in blue. Jaguar eyes the drawings and Middle Eye nods at him and laughs, all but admitting that soon this will be him. Before Jaguar has a chance to react, they're led into a new area. This area is centered around giant stone pyramids, painted red with stairs running up the center. Huge crowds gather around these pyramids, chanting and dancing in unison. At the top of the main pyramid are a group of men, and though it's hard to see what they're doing, there's no mistaking the headless body that tumbles down the steps and into the crowd. Jaguar sees him, the fear and knowing in his eyes evident. The prisoners get led up to the top of the pyramid, where a group of religious officials are gathered to address the crowd. The high priest calls out to the people, explaining how a plague has befallen the city and how it struck down the people and made them appear weak, but they're not weak, and to prove it, they're going to offer sacrifices to their great God. The people are cheering. The first sacrifice is horrific. They drag one of the prisoners onto the podium, lie him out flat and then cut him open while he's alive. They tear his insides out and offer them to their God as a sacrifice before beheading the victim. They do this twice as Jaguar blunted in. The others watch on in fear, knowing that they're next, and what's even worse, there's nothing they can do about it. When it's Jaguar's turn to be sacrificed, it looks as if it's over for him. He doesn't want to die, thinking that his time isn't done yet, and indeed just before the knife plunges in, a solar eclipse occurs, which has very bad effect to the Mayan civilization. They starts to freak out. The high priest claims that it's a sign from their God that he's satisfied with their sacrifices and has blessed them somehow, and so Jaguar Paw's life is saved, but not for long. The remaining prisoners are taken to the outskirts of the city onto a long open field. Beyond the field is the jungle blunted, and another prisoner is untied and ordered to run into the jungle for their freedom. They do just that, only for the warriors to start shooting arrows at them. They try and dodge, but are quickly struck down, much to the delight of the warriors. Next, Jaguar and another one are told to run. They run cleverly. They zigzag as they make for freedom. They dodge the arrows, but the other one is hit in his face and Jaguar is hit in the stomach. He lies as if he is dead. Cut Rock steps in to finish him off with a blade, but is distracted by Blunted, who grabs a hold of his foot. This allows Jaguar to get a jump on him. He kills Cut Rock and flees into the jungle. Zero Wolf watches on in horror as his son is struck down. In a rage, he commands his men to chase Jaguar, and the warriors flee into the forest in pursuit of Jaguar. Jaguar is running for his life but can hear the Mayan warriors chasing him. Thinking quickly, he climbs a tree and hides in the bush until the Mayans pass, but as he hides, blood drips down from his wound and lands on one of the Mayan warriors' backs. They continue to run though until they realize that they have lost his trail. Now angry and wondering what happened, they notice the blood on the warrior's back and realize that Jaguar Paw is on the trees, still hidden from sight. Jaguar Paw hears the calling of a baby jaguar just in front of him, but was shocked to see a fully grown jaguar in the tree, watching at him. It snarls at him and Jaguar appears to be frozen in fear. The warriors are spreading out as they search for him. One of them spots Jaguar sprinting at full speed. He doesn't know that a real jaguar is chasing him. He starts to chase him, but the real jaguar attacks him and takes him down instead. Jaguar Paw flees into the jungle. The warriors realize that the death of their friend is a sign that the omen given by the sick little girl is happening. They fear that this means the end of them all, but Zero Wolf tells them to be quiet and the words mean nothing. He insists to catch and kill Jaguar Paw. Back in the hole, Seven and her son listen as a pack of baboons fight one another overhead. One of the baboons falls into the hole. Seven is forced to club it to death before it attacked them. The warriors continue to track Jaguar Paw. One of them finds blue markings on a tree, but as he shows the others, a snake lashes out and bites him on the neck, killing him. They leave the body and takes off after Jaguar Paw. The warriors are closing in on him. He looks over his shoulder, spotting them behind him. They fire some arrows and throw javelins, missing him by inches. He runs for his life, until he comes across a powerful waterfall. He is standing on the edge, looking at the crushing waters beneath. He then looks back, sees the warriors and knows he has no choice. With a final breath he runs forward and jumps off the waterfall, crashing to the depths below. The warriors assume him dead, but he resurfaces and climbs to the shore and watch them from where he was and taunts them. He tells them that he's Jaguar Paw and this is his jungle, that he knows it better than anyone else. He dares them to follow. Zero Wolf tells his men that they're going to jump. One of them argues, and Zero stabs him in his chest without a word. He then commands his men to jump before throwing himself over. Jaguar flees back into the jungle, and as he does he accidentally falls into quicksand pit and nearly drowns, but he manages to come out and he collapses on his back coated in thick mud, looking like it might be over for him, but then he realizes that he can't lose because his wife is waiting for him. He must be brave like his father said. The warriors move through the jungle looking for Jaguar, when suddenly he appears before him still covered in mud. He carries a huge leaf folded above his head. They stare in wonder, as he tosses the leaf toward them, revealing a hornet's nest. The nest explodes and the hornets attack the warriors, stinging and sending them into a frenzy. Pretty big brain. Then we see Jaguar tracking down a poisonous toad and coats 3 long thistles in its poison. He then marks a spot in the jungle and circles around so as to come from behind. When the warriors find this marking, Jaguar shoots the thistles into one of the warriors' bodies, killing him on the spot. Middle-Eye sees the dead body and goes back for it. At the same time Jaguar appears in the opening across from Middle-Eye. They stare at each other and then charge. Middle-Eye has an axe and swings it wildly at Jaguar. He ducks down, slides beneath the axe, coping only a minor graze, grabs at another axe on the ground, brings it around and slams it into Middle-Eye's head, killing him finally. Back in the hole, Seven tries to use a vine and a stick to create a grapple, so that she and her son can climb out of the hole. With it she makes it halfway up, but the stick snaps and she crashes back down. It starts to rain. The rain is so heavy and the water starts to flow into the hole. The hole starts to fill with water, and as the water fill about their feet, Seven goes into labor, as if things weren't bad enough. Jaguar Paws is running through the forest chased by Zero Wolf. He hears him coming. Zero shoots an arrow right into his chest, dropping him. Jaguar gets back to his feet and screams at Zero Wolf to charge. He does, and there is a trap which suddenly springs up and spears Zero right through the chest. The same trap that was used to hunt the boar earlier. Seven is close to death as the hole feels about her. She's forced to stand on a rock to keep her head above the water. As she's doing this she's also giving birth, and we see the baby being born into the depths of the water. Jaguar Paw bridges the jungle and stumbles upon the ocean. The remaining 2 warriors are in close pursuit, coming in behind when they all freeze, shocked to their core as they look beyond the waves and out to sea. There they see large ships anchored with smaller boats coming into the land on the beach. People are on these small boats, dressed in strange clothing. They haven't seen this before. The warriors are in shock, unable to move, and Jaguar Paw uses this to flee from the beach and runs to his wife. He arrives just in time, pulling her and his 2 children from the watery depths to safety. Later Jaguar takes Seven to the edges of the jungle. They can see the ships on the horizon and she asks if they can go to them. Jaguar Paw says no, they should go to the jungle to seek a new beginning. He is Jaguar Paw and the jungle is his home. That was all from the movie. Subscribe for more content like this. And leave a like to help the channel. Also leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Take care.